Yo, 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 what's up, fire signs? How you guys doing today? Here's a little special that I'm doing for you guys for the solar eclipse. And this is intended and meant to be as a love reading. I normally don't do a lot of those, so I decided to do it for you guys this month, in remembrance for the solar eclipse. But you can regard it as maybe just even friendship, relationship, partnership, any of the above, people at work, co-workers, whatever the case may be for you. Go ahead and apply it to your situation. Remember, guys, this is also a general love reading. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay, you guys, here are the card positions. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The black card is going to be you guys. The white card is going to be the person in question, whether that's mother, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, cousin, neighbor, boss, whatever the case may be for you. So this is just general, about relationships. It is a love reading though, but you can apply it as so. Okay, so for the first position here, represents your present status or overall energy. The second position here represents the positive attributes. Third position right here represents other matters or considerations that need to be addressed. And the fourth position here represents the negative attributes. Once again, guys, this is a general love reading, so please take what resonates and leave what doesn't and apply it to your unique situation. Also remember to watch your sun, moon, and your rising as well and apply that to your unique situation. Also, I just wanted to remind you guys that since energy is fluid, the energies may get crossed over in terms of the card positions. So for instance, you may be the black card, they may be the white card, or they may be the white card, you may be the black card, or in some instances, you may be the black, they may be the white, or maybe over here, you're the white and they're the black. So just go ahead and apply it to your guys' situation, all right? Go ahead and check out the comment section of this video for a timestamp for your specific sign. Okay, let's go ahead and bless the deck and then we'll get started. Guardian angels of love and light, ancestors lost and known in the seas of time, please intercede into this reading to provide all the fire signs with the clarity and direction as to which he or she seeks, and please grant me, the reader, the objectivity to read the cards and relay every single message as they are meant to be. Okay, Aries, so for your first position, right here where the overall energy is, you got the Three of Cups or Three of Water. The other person got Knight of Pentacles, reverse. Okay, so when I see this, I kind of look at it as maybe you guys kind of maybe fell out of love with each other, sort of. But I do think that you guys do enjoy each other's company. You guys may have a lot of things in common, but I just don't feel like maybe the love is kind of there in terms of a relationship or a partnership. Maybe you guys lost respect for each other a little bit too. I'm kind of picking that up. Maybe as well, since the Knight of Pentacles is in reverse, maybe other priorities have taken over in your guys' relationship and it's kind of put your love life on hold or to a halt, possibly. Maybe you guys are going through a slow patch right now in your relationship or even in any, or a partnership as well. Maybe things are kind of it's a little slow right now. Maybe you guys are on two different pages right now. Maybe one of you is resisting change. One wants to kind of change, the other one doesn't, and one's kind of being stubborn, but then you guys kind of know, or the other one knows that if you guys were to make this change together, that you guys would be a lot happier. Maybe, yeah, like some boredom in the relationship. Maybe it's become a little bit predictable, which is kind of slowing you guys down, or maybe it's adding to things being put on hold or kind of stopping or slowing down to a halt. Maybe you guys are kind of stuck in patterns together. Maybe, like I said, predictability for sure in the relationship. Okay, let's see. Okay, Aries, you got the Sister of Water or the Page of Cups here. And your partner got the Nine of Wands reversed. Okay. Maybe something happened within the relationship. Maybe you guys took a break because one kind of maybe felt a little burdensome and wanted to just kind of leave the situation. Or maybe I'm also picking up, maybe you guys may have fell out of the relationship, or maybe, like I said, slowed down, maybe because one maybe needed to take a break. That kind of felt like they're on a different course right now in their life. And it kind of has you all in your feels, kind of. Maybe one is trying harder than the other within the relationship. And maybe one that is trying harder feels like they're kind of giving more than the other person is maybe giving. And, or maybe, you know, one is not giving enough because maybe they feel like they were done wrong within the relationship. And it's kind of like a little bit of fakeness kind of going on in terms of just being with each other. And it's like, it's becoming kind of a job. Maybe I'm kind of picking up that maybe one of you, your guys' maybe family is kind of going through a rough patch right now, and it's kind of bleeding out off into your relationship, and maybe you know lost a little hope in your relationship or the partnership. Maybe one doesn't want to take responsibility for their actions, and it's kind of leaving you guys in limbo in terms of one doesn't know if they're coming or they're going. They don't know if there's like a respect there. Or one definitely feels disrespected because maybe they've been taking on a little bit too much within the relationship. So for your second position here for the positive attributes, maybe you guys tend to forgive each other, ignore issues really easily. Maybe you guys aren't really hard on each other in terms of when like you guys make mistakes or things happen. You guys kind of like, oh, whatever, we'll just work through it, or we'll get over it. Maybe you guys don't take each other too seriously, which can be kind of a bad thing, but you know, it kind of helps relationship because you guys don't take the issues too serious in terms of like, you guys remain optimistic, I guess, a little bit in that sense. You guys maybe don't beat each other up in terms of the mistakes or things that happen. Or I'm also picking up maybe you guys like get into weird situations and like both of you kind of like you guys get into weird situations as individuals and somehow it like just works out. Or maybe you guys found each other in like a hopeless or like lonely place or something like that. Maybe you guys found each other and you guys left a relationship, a previous relationship as individuals, and you guys came together and you remember that moment. Maybe you guys take each other's problems on and you guys kind of take them in as your own. Instead of as like individuals, you guys kind of work together in terms of that. Maybe you take on, maybe you, Aries, takes on the second party's problems and solves it for them, and then the second party takes on your problems and solves them for them, kind of like working together in that sense. Okay, Aries, you got, oh, wow, okay. The Eight of Water, Eight of Cups, and your partner got the Queen of Cups. Maybe one of you kind of feels down sometimes a lot, or maybe one of you wants to kind of maybe walk away from your family or walk away from certain situations, and the other kind of supports you and I'm going to use the word convince, but kind of works with you in terms of maybe changing your mind, but in a positive way. Maybe one of you kind of, I'm kind of picking up, maybe suffers from depression a little bit, and the other one kind of supports them and makes you feel better, or vice versa. Maybe one of you left like a foreign country or something like that, or maybe from a different background, and the other kind of found you, or vice versa. Maybe one of you is kind of maybe sick a lot. I don't know why I'm picking that up. Is maybe kind of ill a lot, and the other one takes really good care of you. Maybe you guys support each other emotionally as well. You guys listen to each other. Or maybe, I mean, possibly I'm also kind of looking at like maybe one doesn't listen to other people, but then, you know, your partner or the second party does listen. You listen to them and you take their opinion into consideration. It usually helps you within the relationship, or it helps you in the long run as an individual. Maybe you guys, like I said, I'm kind of picking up too, like maybe you guys left a previous relationship, both of you. You guys got, you know, you guys found each other and like you guys had like similar stories. And you guys maybe made like a vow, like, okay, we're going to always be honest with each other, and we're always going to tell each other how we feel. For your third position, for the things or the matters that need to be addressed, maybe things are kind of get out of balance frequently. Maybe one of you looks at the bad instead of the good too often, and it kind of affects the other and throws the other off. Maybe you guys are on different pages. Maybe there's like no cohesion sometimes in the relationship. It's kind of like you guys are on different or opposite sides of the spectrum, maybe a little bit. Maybe one of you, I don't know why I'm picking up on this, but maybe one of you had like children and the other one doesn't know about it, or maybe like maybe one of you is trying to incorporate your children into the relationship, or maybe tell your partner or the other person about your children. I don't know why I'm picking up on that. It's very strange, but maybe a biracial relationship too, which I mean, we're all in full support of that. Maybe you guys come from different backgrounds, you know, and it's kind of like it's affecting your guys' family environments in terms of like your guys' families, your guys' intermediate families as individuals. And it's kind of throwing you guys off kind of in the relationship because, you know, maybe you feel like the other person kind of doesn't really have your back, and they're kind of like, well, they're kind of being stuck between a rock and a hard place in terms of like what your family wants and what your family desires, and then what your partner or the other person in question wants and desires. They're kind of conflicting ideals. Maybe one is optimistic and the other one's kind of pessimistic, and kind of slows the relationship down. Maybe one's a little bit more conservative, and then the other is maybe a little bit more radical or a little bit more of a free spirit. So it kind of like throws you guys off a little bit in terms of the relationship. Maybe one gives in too much to the other, possibly. Maybe one kind of makes decisions that kind of slows things down, and then the other one kind of maybe has to clean up the mess a little bit. Or maybe one feels more responsible than the other because of that. Let's see. Okay, Aries, you got the Seven of Water reversed. And then the other got the Tower reversed. Okay. All right. Wow, this kind of grew a little bit. Maybe one of you wants to leave the relationship, but the other maybe doesn't understand that. Is maybe kind of acting a fool, or maybe doing certain things that's preventing the relationship from growing, but maybe it's but during this prevention or trying to, you know, seek other ways of doing something, it kind of slows the relationship down and maybe makes you look at them as maybe a little bit deceitful. Maybe one that kind of walks away, or maybe threatens to walk away a lot, and then it kind of throws the other off, and it kind of like every little bit hurts kind of situations that arise from this. Maybe maybe one's kind of very indecisive, and the other one is not. The other one, it sounds funny when I say that. One is indecisive and the other is not very like that, and it kind of throws things off, and maybe you guys have missed opportunities because of it. When I'm seeing this, I'm kind of picking up like you guys have two different mindsets at times, but it's like the times that you guys do have two different mindsets, it really affects the relationship in terms of the growth of it, and in terms of maybe maybe prevents or eggs on rather maybe some avoidable consequences. Maybe one's a little bit more emotionally involved than the other. Maybe there was an event in your life, like maybe a death or something like that, and it kind of like you guys had two conflicting ideals about it, and then you guys kind of went on your separate paths, and maybe separated for a little bit because of it. For your last and final position, for the negative attributes, maybe one maybe, like I said before, gives in too much to the other, but to like on a detrimental kind of scale. Maybe one's a little bit likes to go out and kind of likes to have fun, likes to take little risks, and the other one's maybe like a more conservative and maybe more of a homebody. Maybe you guys enable each other. Maybe one of you just, you know, has a little bit more freedom than the other and chooses to do things a little bit more maybe risky, and the other one kind of doesn't really scold you for it, and they're kind of like they're there to pick you up when you fall, but you kind of fall a lot, and you know everyone's kind of like, oh, what the hell, like why can't he hold his own? Maybe one is working and the other one is not, but the one that's not working really just doesn't want to. It's not really, it's more of a choice, not like, you know, more of a choice, you know, like he or she's just choosing to not want to work, and the other one just trying to hold everything up together. I'm also kind of picking up like maybe one of you doesn't know about the other's dirt. I'm not saying really maybe lies, but you know the whole truth isn't maybe, or maybe the whole truth isn't given, like the omission of truth. There could be some addictions involved in this. Maybe both of you are kind of addicted to something. Maybe you're addicted to money, possibly. I'm kind of picking up. Aries, oh wow. Okay, karma, which is justice. Wow. And then they got the Six of Swords here. Okay. Let's see. Maybe, like I said, one wants to walk away, but then the other kind of maybe convinces them not to, or maybe when one does want to walk away, the other one kind of like throws a fit or finds a way of like manipulating the situation. Maybe one needs to walk away, maybe their family is in support of that, but then, you know, they just want to stay in the relationship, and maybe like misery loves company kind of situation going on. Having a feeling maybe like going back to the idea of one getting what they shouldn't in terms of deserving, and then the other one kind of that is giving maybe doesn't get what they want out of it. Like, you know, the bad guy gets a good thing, and then the good guy gets the bad thing. Maybe there's like a superior and inferior ority complex kind of going on. One thinks they're better than the other, and it's just not really working out. One wants to walk away but hasn't made a decision yet. I'm kind of looking at it like maybe you Aries, or the other person has actually walked away one time, but the other one threatens to walk away, but then they really don't leave the relationship, which is why it's maybe becoming a little bit predictable, or maybe those are the circumstances that are kind of involved in it, and it's kind of maybe growing on you or the other person, and they just kind of don't really, they're kind of over it a little bit. I'm also picking up as the last message is like a lack of respect within the relationship as well. All right, Aries, we'll see ya. Hopefully everything will be okay, and hopefully everything works out favorably after and the solar eclipse for August 2017. Okay, Leo, so for your first position here, for the overall energy, I kind of feel like maybe Leo, either you or the other, stick up for the other person, which is good. I mean, I feel like when the other person is kind of feeling low or feeling kind of down, one of you stick up for the other, and you guys fight for the other's respect and for the other's yearn, in terms of wanting the respect and actually earning the respect as well. I feel like maybe sometimes it can kind of go awry a little bit somewhere in between there, and also the respect for each other. Also, on the contrary, kind of picking up as well, that maybe you guys do bicker a lot, maybe back and forth, in terms of who maybe earns more respect. But you know, we can't look at it like that. We can look at it like, you know, we just better pick our battles maybe a little bit more wisely. Also, I'm kind of getting that you, Leo, maybe you or the other, you guys pump each other up in terms of when the other's feeling down. You know, telling the other to, no, it's okay, cheer up, you can do this, have the strength, find it in you. I feel like, you know, that kind of goes on a little bit, which is a good trait, you know, to pump the other up and to bring the other, you know, up to speed, and to give the other more clarity and give the other reassurance that everything that they're doing is good and that it's great and that it works and that it's successful, and that they should maybe give themselves more credit in terms of the goodness that they bring, because maybe one or you kind of lose that maybe sometimes down the line, and it's good to cheer them up and to give them that that pep in their step, you know. That's what I'm kind of feeling a little bit. Also, maybe because going back to the idea of one of you fighting for each other's respect in terms of like outside influences, I feel like that's a good thing too, because then it kind of shows the other that you have their back and that you guys can depend on each other when things go awry or things kind of go, you know, a little skewed. And yeah, just kind of sticking up for each other and making sure that you guys are there for each other, and it brings the other out of feeling maybe left out or maybe feeling kind of lost a little bit. Leo, you got the 5 of Earth reversed, or the 5 of Pentacles reversed, and the other got 7 of Wands. Okay, let's see. Okay, Leo, you got the Sister of Wind, or the Page of Swords, and the other got the 10 of Swords here. Okay. I'm kind of feeling or picking up that maybe one of you kind of, maybe a little bit too harsh in your delivery sometimes in terms of how to go about saying things or how to do things or communicating with other people. I'm kind of feeling like maybe one of you kind of say things out of line or out of turn sometimes, and it makes the other feel like maybe they have to clean up the mess, or maybe makes them feel kind of bad about the situation, or maybe makes them feel like they have to, like I said, pick up the mess or clean up the aftermath of the situation. I'm also kind of picking up that maybe like the way that things are said within maybe the family, maybe you guys' families kind of go back and forth with each other in terms of as individuals. Maybe you, Leo, you know, you have contention with their family, and then vice versa. Maybe, you know, your partner has contention with your family, possibly. That could be it as well. Yeah. But I really do feel like, you know, some of you do need to kind of engage in terms of understanding how things are said and how they're portrayed and how they are looked at, and how they other people understand what's going on, or how they interpret what it is that you guys are saying, or what one of you says to the whole group as a whole. And maybe that kind of brings a burden, or maybe puts a strain on the other's relationship with their family. I'm kind of feeling a lot of family here, a lot with this. Okay, and for your second position here, for the positive attributes, I kind of feel like things happen or things arise, right? Where like one kind of is judged a little bit for their actions, but I kind of feel like it's a good thing though. Like one kind of goes on, either you or the other kind of goes on this like quest or this tangent for obtaining some kind of goal or emphasis upon what they want to manifest, and then the other kind of looks at them like, what are you doing? Like, that does not seem right. Like, why are you doing that? They kind of question, you know, but then all in all, it kind of works out in the end. It may not go or be or manifest in the most conventional way, but I feel like it does work out. And I also feel like maybe The other kind of maybe may judge you a little bit for that in terms of like in the moment, maybe say like, oh my God, like what are you doing? You're doing a little too much right now. But then, you know, the other kind of says, no, it's going to be fine. Watch. It's all going to work out. And that persistence kind of comes to pass, and then it ends up being a good thing. And then that the other one kind of says, oh wow, like, okay, I kind of see, okay, that kind of works like that. And all in all, it kind of works out in the end. Yeah, I kind of feel like that's what I'm getting from that. Let's see. Leo, you got the 3 of Fire in reverse, or 3 of Wands reversed. And your partner, or the person in question, I should say, got the 3 of Pentacles upright. Okay, I kind of feel like maybe going back to that idea, what I was saying about things working out as a latent consequence, how they work out pretty good. And I feel like maybe one of you has an idea of how things are going to work, and it is a good idea in terms of how it works out, but then the other kind of doubts you a little bit along the way. And I feel like the other one should maybe trust you a little bit more, and that things will work out in turn and how they actually do. Let's see here, kind of picking up that maybe one of you kind of needs to make better decisions in terms of how everyone can work together. And I feel like you guys are on that road to actually making that happen. But sometimes maybe down the line, things can kind of get mixed up, or things can kind of maybe take a turn. But I feel like you guys do kind of come back together, and that it is a good thing when it actually does work out. And I'm seeing that it kind of does work out. But I can see a little bit of maybe clash of wills. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like it's a good thing, because then at least you guys see both sides of the fence in terms of, Leo, what you want, and then your the person in question, you see their side of the view as well, or their side of the fence as well, and you guys are able to kind of bring it together and maybe see how the best way to maneuver it, or how to approach it, and how to go about doing it in terms of the steps that needed to be taken to manifest what's going on, or what the goal is in mind. I'm kind of seeing that maybe one of you needs to maybe work on trusting the other maybe a little bit more, but I feel like it does happen. It just takes a little bit of time. There's a little bit of clash of wills sometimes though, but I feel like it does happen pretty more often than not. And just, you know, being confident in each other's decisions, and I feel like you guys do. But like I said, there seems like, you know, especially with 3s in tarot, you know, you guys both got 3s. 3s are, you know, that first step, taking that first step in terms of making a decision, or looking at the decision, or looking at the options. That's the 2s, and then the 3s are kind of making a decision and kind of waiting for things to come in. So the 3s can kind of be signified as like waiting periods of like, okay, did I make the right decision? Did I take the right step in order for things to happen or to work out? For your 3rd position here, excuse me, Leo, you got the 3 of Swords, and the person in question got the Knight of Swords here. I kind of feel that maybe what needs to be readjusted in terms of the position, or other matters that need to be addressed, I should say. That's what the position entails. I want to say that maybe the way that you guys communicate with each other, maybe during, you know, you guys' moments of contention, or maybe moments of disagreement, to maybe kind of just trust each other, but also watch the way that you guys maybe speak to each other in terms of how you communicate. And ambition can sometimes be, you know, debilitating sometimes, because then we can kind of put the blinders on and not see exactly the other person's point of view, or see exactly how we are exhibiting our anger or our temperament towards the other person. And sometimes that can happen. And maybe that's where you guys kind of need to work on it with each other, in terms of maybe 1, not getting each other to that point, but then 2, maybe one of you not getting too, don't take things to heart, maybe too much, in terms of like, if one is telling you, hey, I think you're kind of, you know, your delivery is a little off, and I feel like you're being a little rough, but then, you know, the person in question that they're saying that to, they should then say, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I was doing that. Like, just have more understanding in terms of the communication, how it's manifested, and how it's portrayed, and how it's exhibited, and how it's taken, because you always want things to be absorbed and not ignored. And I feel like when I see this mix here, I kind of feel like it's a little bit ignored most of the time sometimes, or it can lead to that, especially when, you know, tempers are high, or when the ambition is so high that maybe frustration sets in when one's trying to accomplish a goal, and then the other may not may give them maybe some negative feedback, but it's more constructive, but maybe not, it's that taken as constructive by the other. It's kind of viewed as kind of critical, or it's viewed like criticism, and then that person can then take it and twist it around and make it seem like it's bad, really, when it wasn't intended to be bad. I feel like that's kind of what you guys maybe need to work on. Okay, Leo, you got, let's see, sorry guys, these cards are kind of going everywhere here. Okay, the Two of Fire or the Two of Wands, and your partner got the Six of Pentacles. Okay. Let's see. I feel like maybe you guys should work on giving to each other in terms of having each other's back a little bit more, in terms of what you guys require of each other during your guys' ventures. And that also comes along with, communication, because you guys need to be on the same page in terms of what you guys want and need of each other. And that's a big one in terms of just solid communication. Knowing what you guys require of each other and knowing how to adjust and how to make certain decisions that are maybe in limbo, or when one makes a decision, the other won't be upset at it, or it's not, adversely affecting the other person, because you guys know what you guys need from each other in terms of being on the same page, precisely on the same page, I feel. I'm also kind of picking up maybe just giving more, I feel, for sure. Giving more to the situation, giving more to, okay, I'm also giving more time in terms of you guys actually setting the time up. You guys setting that time to talk to each other and see how you guys are doing. Check in with each other a little bit more. Don't just assume that the other is okay, or that the other, you know what they want, in terms of, oh, I just know what they want. I know what they want. Don't say that. Know what they want, not just think about maybe what they want. Be sure. Solidify those notions so that they don't, notions turn into facts, because you guys need to communicate with each other, and just set that time apart from the rest of the world, and just make sure you guys then get on the same page. Because you don't necessarily have to go into extreme detail, but just know that what you guys want out of each other and expect it. But also just the communication has to be on point there in terms of making new decisions apart from each other, so that, like I said, you guys don't make certain decisions as individuals and then it clashes with the other one's wants or needs, and it leads to an argument when it can be an avoidable consequence. Okay, so for your last position here, for the negative attributes, maybe one of you is kind of being a little bit, maybe doing things on your own time, maybe not obliging the other in terms of how they want you to do things. Now, it's not like you're going to do things exactly how they want them to, but just kind of taking the other person's guidelines or the person's time frame into consideration as well. Because I feel like when that doesn't happen, it kind of leaves the other feeling like maybe they can't be proud, or they can't speak of like, oh, look, we're this kind of couple and we communicate, and maybe one of you guys, the plans maybe kind of go the wrong way because the other is kind of maybe taking their time. Or maybe also I'm kind of picking up that maybe other things that are going on in your guys' lives as individuals are kind of hindering your guys' growth as a couple, in terms of, or whatever the relationship may be between you guys, that it's kind of hindering that moving forward, and it's kind of working adversely against you guys, because once again, not being on the same page, not being in constant communication in terms of what you guys need from each other. I really do feel like that's kind of what's going on. Okay, Leo, you got the Four of Fire here, or the Four of Wands, and they got the Six of Cups reversed. Okay. I feel like, when this doesn't happen between you guys, it kind of leaves one feeling maybe left out, maybe one feeling not so great about the other's position or the other's ambition. Let's see. Yeah, once again, kind of going back to the idea of not having that first level of completion within the partnership or the relationship. I feel like, let's see, Six of Cups here. It's kind of like, I feel like sometimes things can kind of go awry. Like one will feel pretty good about the situation and the other one wouldn't. So then kind of like you guys are on different precipices. Like it's kind of like that's the best way to describe this. Kind of like one succeeds and then the other one kind of doesn't, or one succeeds and then the other one kind of is left like, well, I mean, I'm glad that, you know, you got what you wanted, but like, you know, I didn't get everything that I wanted. Like that. Kind of like, because not being on the same page, and then that can lead to some kind of that can lead to like feuding over like who has the upper hand within the relationship, which you guys no one should have the upper hand. You guys should both have the upper hands in terms of your relationship as individuals, but it should work together and it should meld, you know, meld and mold together. And I feel like that's what's kind of happening sometimes, that like one succeeds, the other one doesn't, but then when you don't talk about it, one tends to succeed more than the other, or one's goals are maybe taken care of while the other ones are not, and that can lead to maybe some type of dissatisfaction, or it can lead to maybe greed, like one can feeling like one's taking more than they're giving, and that can, you know, lead to all kinds of arguments, and just leading to feeling like, you know, they're unappreciated. You know, it can lead to feelings sort of like that, almost being used, and feeling like the other one's advice or the other one's wants and yearns and needs are not given as well, or they're not considered to be worthy, kind of. You know, it can lead to those types of feelings or those types of situations that can manifest from not being on the same page. And I feel like you guys need to be on the same page, but it's going to come from communication, and it's going to come from being honest during those moments of communication with you guys yourself as an individuals, but also most importantly as a couple, for sure, or as, you know, any type of relationship that this may entail. Okay, all right, Leah, I hope you enjoyed your little spread for the solar eclipse for August 2017. Okay, Sagittarius, so for yours, this first position here, we have for the overall energy, I kind of feel, Sag, like between maybe you and your partner, there's maybe, or the person in question, I should say, I feel like maybe you or your partner are trying to keep a positive outlook on the relationship. Also trying to basically just try to make things better than they probably maybe are. Also trying to be more realistic maybe with the relationship, trying to see the good instead of the bad. Maybe keeping that as a sense of keeping the livelihood of the relationship up. I'm feeling like maybe one of you is maybe feeling like they're not maybe adding to the relationship, or maybe you need to add, or they need to add more of a presence in the relationship. I feel like maybe one of you are kind of distant right now, and they need to add more presence in terms of being there, trying to build upon the relationship with them instead of maybe against them, kind of picking up. Maybe one of you is, like I said, just kind of not really present right now, but the other one is just trying to hold everything up, trying to keep everything together, looking at the positive attributes instead of the negative, and just trying to maybe gain some understanding of the relationship and gaining some understanding of how things are flowing, gain some understanding from the other person's point of view, maybe trying to work with the other to make the situation better, trying to understand it in a more positive manner, I feel. Okay, Sag, you got the Seven of Fire here, so the Seven of Wands. And they got the Three of Wands here. Okay, so one of you are maybe fighting for the relationship. The other one is maybe making the plans throughout the relationship. Maybe one feels like the plans that they do make, they're maybe worth it because maybe you are present, or they are present within the relationship at that time during the plans. I feel like when maybe one of you makes a decision within the relationship, the other one is very supportive of it. Also, on the contrary, maybe kind of coming or concluding that maybe when one makes a plan, maybe the other one kind of kind of just goes against it. Maybe there's a lot of arguments in terms of making a decision. Maybe both of you are on a different type of precipice, or maybe on a different type of level in terms of the types of decisions that you guys want to make as individuals. And maybe that can kind of get in the way a little bit. Also kind of picking up that maybe one of you is more of the decision maker while the other one kind of just floats on by and just kind of just sits there and just kind of just goes along with the program a little bit. But then I'm kind of concluding that maybe not, because there is some kind of there's some kind of, I don't want to use the word argument, but some kind of interference in terms of how these decisions are made, or how they are planned out, or how they actually manifest and how they carry on. But I do feel like when you guys do make a decision together, that it is really powerful, and that it is something that sticks around, and it is noticeable within the relationship, and you guys do support each other if and when that congenial type of decision making actually happens, and when it actually manifests, and when it actually works together and both of you agree upon that particular decision. Now for your position over here, where the positive attributes, I'm kind of picking up that there is room for growth within the relationship, which is pretty good. There should always be room for growth. There should always be, in any type of relationship, we're always supposed to be bickering back and forth, because when you don't bicker, something can be wrong at the same time. It's like a double-edged sword kind of in a way, but that's how relationships grow, and that's how they manifest, is when both parties, give their opinion, and then we come to the middle. And that's how we come up with a decision that works for best, best for both, because when we compromise, we both give up something, So I kind of feel like maybe there is, like I said, there is room for growth within the relationship. I also feel like there is room for transformation within the relationship. I feel like there's a lot of passion when it comes to making both of you, or passion from both of your guys' points of views in terms of what you guys want and how you guys want things to go and manifest, and how you want things to come together. I feel like there is a lot of passion. Maybe it can kind of get lost in translation sometimes when the passion is a little bit too high. But then too much passion can also, signify that, there is caring there. There is support there. There is caring in terms of wanting to move forward, wanting to support each other within the relationship, and wanting to support each other's decisions within the relationship. So that's a good thing as well. I feel like the passion is there, but there is, room for growth, and there is room for learning each other's passion, and learning about each other's passion, and learning exactly how you guys can help each other out, and understanding each other's points of view, especially, I feel. Okay, sorry, got a little crooked here. Now for your next position here in the center, sorry guys, the cards are a little crooked. For other matters that need to be addressed, I'm sorry, I didn't clarify these. Let's do that. Okay, you got the Seven of Water in reverse. They got the Four of Cups reversed. Okay. Let's see. Maybe one of you feel like you maybe miss an opportunity. That's why maybe there is so much passion within the relationship. And I feel like when maybe certain decisions are made and they're not the best decision, the other kind of picks up the slack a little bit, or the other one says, it's okay, we're going to figure it out, we're going to make this a positive thing. I feel like when one makes a bad decision and the other is kind of like, it's okay, maybe good to come out of it, staying and being optimistic within the relationship, and it helps you to kind of maneuver forward, or to move on forward in terms of gaining some clarity and perspective in terms of each other's choices and decisions, and also show support within the relationship. I'm also kind of feeling that maybe there definitely is support if and when it is there. I'm also kind of feeling that maybe when one feels like an opportunity is missed, the other really does try and make that happen for the other. Really tries to bring it together, and really tries to make that happen for the other person, because they do want to see them happy. But at the same time, maybe work together in terms of coming up with a decision that both of you can agree with at that specific time, making sure that it's together in terms of you guys be both on the same page, so that something doesn't get something doesn't get lost in translation, or something doesn't go by both of your guys' set of eyes, because we want to keep, there's 4 sets of eyes when it comes to both of you guys. So you always want to be on the outlook in terms of what to look for, what to look out for. Okay. For the position here of other matters that need to be addressed, I kind of feel like maybe forgiveness is a big one, I feel here. And I feel like that's why the Nine of Cups is here as well. It's because forgiveness is one of the things where acknowledgement of the forgiveness, I feel that's a big one. Because then both of you can know what areas you need to work on as individuals, and you guys both know where you guys both stand. And forgiveness is a big one because it has to do with understanding each other's ends and points of view. And forgiveness also entails admitting your wrongs, but also being the other acknowledging that is why I feel like acknowledgement is a really big one as well within this spread and within the relationship. Making sure that acknowledgement is key here, that the other says, I understand how you feel and I'm sorry that you feel like that, let's work on it together. Acknowledging the other one in terms of like what their wrongs are, what they did, or how things went about. Okay, Sag, you got the Ten of Fire or the Ten of Wands reverse. They got the Three of Swords reversed. Okay. I kind of feel like until that acknowledgement is reached, or until it comes to pass in terms of you guys work on it, I feel like then one of you or both of you won't carry the burden any longer in terms of keeping things inside and keeping things stuffed down and not being completely honest with it. I feel like you guys would then come out of that period, and also the other will come out of heartbreak. I really feel like it is communication, and the acknowledgement is going to then relieve both of you guys in terms of one is going to let it go in terms of what's manifested and what is kept under wraps in terms of what's not said, because after all, what's left unsaid says it all type of situation kind of going on. I feel like within these two cards, and I also kind of feel like then when that happens, and the other will feel like heartbreak will no longer come, or they can come out of a heartbreak. These are two cards that have to do with, because of a release, good comes out of it. So that's what I'm feeling like that needs to be addressed in terms of how you both can approach each other's feelings and how the best way of doing it, because then you're going to come out of carrying the burden, and you guys are also going to come out of heartbreak. You're going to come out of feeling like misunderstood, or not feeling or maybe feeling possibly, I'm also picking up like used, feeling like maybe used within a certain situation, which you guys shouldn't feel used, because you guys shouldn't use each other. I mean, yes, rest on each other in terms of what you guys need together, but one should not feel used. And if one does feel used, then the other needs to reassure that one person that they're not being used. And if the one who is being used or feels that they're being used feels like that, the other has to reassure them as well that those are not my intentions. And that comes from letting go of burdens, and that comes from communicating properly and assessing each other's feelings appropriately and in a positive manner. Okay, so for your fourth position here, for the negative attributes, I kind of feel that when certain mistakes are made, or when things kind of get really bad to the point where one is left to take all the swords out of their back, or that's the effect on the other, it kind of leads to feeling like there's really no sense of completion within the relationship. Like you can't move to the next level, or you can't move, or it prevents transformation from happening, or maybe you guys are both not on the same level, not on the same mindset in terms of what you guys want to manifest, and the goal that's there, or the goal that is in question, that it's just kind of left in limbo, and that you guys both need to come to that point where it shouldn't have to get really bad in order to get really good. You guys should be able to see where things are coming and where they're headed, and then approach them positively, and then prevent them from getting really bad before they get really good. You understand what I'm saying? Like, not allowing them to reach that level 10 type of situation, where if they can reach a level 6 or 7, then one of you or both of you can then grasp it and correct it and come together to correct it. Okay. Oh, all right, Sag, you got the Magician. Then they got the Empress. Wonderful. This is beautiful. Okay. The end result, I feel, or maybe some of the negative attributes are some of those things that I was speaking of. They maybe prevent you guys from both being these types of individuals, or embodying these types of traits where one creates, you know, and then the other one adds to the environment, and where you guys can both solidify your guys' wants and needs within the relationship, and how they both can come together, and how they both work together, instead of being or acting as like adversaries where they clash together. Because, you know, the magician is someone who creates and has all the tools necessary to create things, but then the empress also is the, you know, the mother of creation. So it's kind of you guys coming together to create both of those things as individuals, but yet putting them together so you guys can create things together, and also being on the same page so that you guys don't create things that become like adversaries, you know, where you guys can bring your points together, and where then you guys can put it together and it ends up becoming something really beautiful that also includes communication and being on the same page as well with each other, and maybe speaking to each other in terms of what you guys need and what you want and what you expect. Okay, I'm kind of speaking fast, but I'm just trying to get as many thoughts out or many messages as I can out. But I'm kind of concluding like you guys both maybe should write things down in terms of what you guys really want, and to be honest about it, and what you expect of each other in terms of what you guys can do as individuals to help each other out, and then you guys' overall goals as individuals, and see how they merge together, see how they come together, and see where they don't come together, and readjust or adjust the things that don't come together, and find a way of putting it together. It's all about compromise, I feel. Once you guys do compromise and you guys do adjust and you guys are very honest with each other in your approach and in your delivery, I feel like you guys would then gain this type of atmosphere in terms of what the kind of coupled atmosphere that you guys would like to create. And I feel like it's a really good one, but it's going to come from, you know, reassessing what leads to heartbreak, reassessing what leads to insecurity, and what leads to heartbreak, what leads to feeling like they're carrying the burden. Once this is solved, or this is at least coped with, and it works together, or you guys work the kinks out, this is when you'll achieve this type of success, I feel. Okay? All right, guys. All right, Sagittarius, I hope you liked the little spread here. For the, I'm sorry, I just drew a blank. For the solar eclipse, I'm sorry, in August 2017.